So Derek Carr recently signed with the New Orleans Saints, and I think this is a interesting signing. First, the money is what $150 million over 4 years, with over $100 million in guarantees, which is a rare thing in today's NFL. He got a legitimate mid-range quarterback deal in 2023. And it's been a long time since we've done it. $31 million over the next 4 years on average. I'm pretty sure they're going to do some cap stuff. It's a Saints. They're going to play some tricks to make that fit in the cap. But that's what the deal is. 100 mil guaranteed with signing. He gets 60 million of that guaranteed in New Orleans immediately. And I have a few perspectives I'm going to look at this from. First, from Derek Carr's perspective, this is an absolute win for Derek Carr. This is where he wanted to go. This is where he visited. This team has good pieces around the quarterback position. They're in the NFC. So the barrier to get to the Super Bowl is not Patrick Mahomes or the top quarterbacks in the league. It's an aging Aaron Rodgers, a quarterbackless San Francisco 49ers team, and a Philadelphia Eagles team with Jalen Hurts, who seems to be very good now. But we're still not 1,000% sure that Jalen Hurts is one of those guys, even though it seems like Jalen Hurts going to be one of them dudes. You got Chris Olave. You technically have, I ain't going to include Michael Thomas on this. I don't even think they got him anymore, technically. You got Marquez Callaway. You got some good pieces there. And I think this is a great move for Derek Carr. For the Raiders, this is an L. This is a L. Not because you let go of Derek Carr and you're going to rue the day that you let go of Derek Carr. No, that I understand why you would let go of Derek Carr. Why I'm saying this is an L is because you could have legitimately gotten some great value for Derek Carr in the trade market if you had decided to trade him. But for whatever reason, Josh McDaniels decided that he needs a season to figure out what the entire NFL figured out years ago, which is Derek Carr is all right. And that's not an insult. There's not that many quarterbacks in the NFL that are all right. Like, it's really hard in the NFL to be all right at quarterback. Not that many guys. Not that many guys. But he's just all right. And what I at quarterback means is you can win with him. You can lose with him. The last guy I remember being like this is Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, you could put all the numbers together and tell me how he's the greatest quarterback in Lions history and all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, he was all right. He was all right. Had one great year with the LA Rams, won a Super Bowl. Good for Matt Stafford. But most of his career, he was all right. That's not an insult. All right is like the 12th best quarterback in the NFL. Ain't nothing wrong with being all right. It's not the same as being Kirk Cousins, where I legitimately think you can't go to the Super Bowl because Kirk Cousins is your quarterback. And what is a terrible tease about Kirk Cousins is he's good enough to make you think that you might have a chance, but ultimately folds consistently enough in the moment that you can't trust that. You can't trust that. So while he can take you to the promised land, that man can't walk you into the building. And that is the most, could you imagine? Could you imagine somebody who can take you to promise, make you see promise? You looking at it right there. Oh, that's the Super Bowl. We're 2 games away from it. Hey, but we can't go in because I'm banned, so we gotta go back. What? That's Kirk Cousins. I don't think Derek Carr is that. Like, you could get to the Super Bowl with Derek Carr if you had a really, really good team around Derek Carr. He's not so consistently a meltdown in the clutch that you can't do that. But you ain't going to the Super Bowl because of Derek Carr, unless like some fluke Joe Flacco stuff happens with him. But that's kind of who he is. He's just all right. And you had the chance to get like 2 or 3 first-round picks for trading all right. But instead, Josh McDaniels thought he was smarter than everybody else and decided he needed a year to figure out what everybody else figured out. And now he's paying for it because, now he realized, Derek Carr's just all right. Can't go much farther with him. We needed a guy at quarterback. Oh, well, I could have told you that last year. And you could have traded him to somebody who wanted to believe in Derek Carr. You might have been able to trade him to the Browns. You might have been able to trade him to a number of teams. The Saints. You probably could have traded him to the Saints for a first-round pick or two. But you missed out. So the Raiders get an L for thinking they smarter than everybody else and not cutting bait last year when they had the opportunity to sell high on what they knew was eyed. That's on them. That is on them. They had the perfect opportunity to do so, getting a new head coach in there. You had your chance to sell high on him. You completely blew it. That's on you. You gave him up for nothing, and giving up a quarterback for nothing kind of stinks. Because again, they don't make that many quarterbacks. Now for the Saints, I'm conflicted. Because I keep looking at this through AFC eyes, where I'm like, hey, and signing a mid-range quarterback makes no sense for an AFC team. Because you got to get through Joe Burrow, you got to get through Josh Allen, you got to get through Pat Mahomes. And Pat Mahomes is the big boss on that. And I don't care if your quarterback's all right, you ain't beating Pat Mahomes. You got to have an elite quarterback to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. You ain't getting through them with some eye at quarterback. You know what I mean? So that's not what they have to go through. Best case scenario, they play Pat Mahomes one time. Worst case scenario, they play Pat Mahomes one time, or they have to beat Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. And you could beat Pat Mahomes once. If that's the only, if the only elite quarterback you really have to play is Pat Mahomes. Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. You can win that one game. The gauntlet in the AFC is what makes it hard to not have an elite quarterback, because it requires you to have good quarterback play 3 weeks in a row, because you're going to have to play 3 weeks of good quarterbacks. In the NFC, it's not that. It's not that. You can get outplayed at the quarterback position. It don't matter. Brock Purdy went to the NFC Championship last year, and Brock Purdy's cool. I like Brock Purdy, but he's not elite. Nobody's making that argument. So while I'm inclined to be like, you can't sign Derek Carr there, you can't go to the AFC, but yes, you can get to the NFC Championship game with Derek Carr. The question with the Saints is, were they a quarterback away? And I think that's the problem. I don't think they were a quarterback away. One, we have no idea what Alvin Kamara's future situation with this team's going to be. It seems like a mess, quite frankly. So there's that. While they will be a better team now that they have Derek Carr, I don't know if that fixes all their problems. And I still think they have a lot of flaws on defense. Some of their best players are getting really old. Cam Jordan's not young anymore. He's going into his 12th or 13th year. I just don't think they were that close for a move like this to make sense as far as winning the Super Bowl. I don't think he's that guy. Now, the last time they picked up a quarterback that was kind of the scraps of another guy, it worked out really well for the Saints. So maybe that's how this all plays out. But I think the Saints will probably have about 3 or 4 years of being a consistent playoff team, maybe getting to a second round here or there, maybe even sneaking to an NFC Championship game here or there. But I don't think this is ultimately going to result in them winning a Super Bowl. I don't know if that's the goal. Maybe they just want to get back to the playoffs and be competitive again and roll the dice. But that's kind of my thoughts on that situation. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Have a good night.